Hello and welcome. Hello. And if you're joining us online, hello to you guys as well. Welcome to Free Recovery Community. We're a community for addicts, loved one of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And together we break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there is always one thing that we never ever do here. It's 4 simple words, and if you would, help me shout them out on the count of 3, all 4 words. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame. That is right. If you are new with us, we would love to get to know you a little bit better. Just outside of these doors, you'll find some welcome bags. And inside the welcome bags, you'll find some fresh roasted wagon coffee by the extraordinary Tammy Canaday and her ladies at Wagon Coffee. You'll find the free Connect card that gets you signed up to our newsletter and some free swag. We also have so many events that I'm about to run down for the month of the next 3 weeks. So if you need any more of this information, I encourage you to sign up for the newsletter because there'll be more details in the newsletter and on social, but I'm just gonna kind of glimpse through them because there's a lot, so just bear with me. First off, we have our Advent event happening this Thursday. It's Thursday in the cafe from 6 to 7:30. It's going to be a potluck event where you can just come, get some food, some fellowship. We're going to kick off the holiday season for some quiet reflection, and it's just a great way to meet people, get some food. We do ask that you RSVP, but it is free. It's more so that we have a head count for the food. We also have our HaHa Holidays event, which we're partnering with the Phoenix. That is going to be on Thursday, December 11th. That will be from 7 to 8:30. You do need to register for that one because it will sell out both in here and in the cafe. We also have our party in the parking lot Friday. Yes, it's going to be so fun. December 19th, we're going to have Love Pop food truck, and it's a wonderful, it's like amazing treats. It's like the sugary, like just yumminess. That is also a free event in the parking lot. Followed by that next Saturday is our Christmas Eve service. So we do things a little bit different here. And so we're celebrating Christmas Eve on December 20th. Next up, I want to remind everyone, this one actually affects this service the most, especially you friends watching online. This is the last Saturday that the 7 p.m. will be live streamed. So starting next week, we're switching the live stream to 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you were watching online, make sure you're in the right time zone. Make sure you're watching the 5 p.m. service. And then one more small little thing I did want to mention. Neither Ryan or Tammy are here tonight. They're enjoying some well-deserved time off. They're on a little date night tonight. But I wanted to mention Wagon Coffee. It's a small women-owned business, and today is Small Business Saturday. So if you guys would like to support Tammy and all of her team, I highly encourage you guys either buy some coffee from the cafe or hop on her website. And she's running a Black Friday deal through, I think she said Tuesday. But Tammy does so much for us here that any way you guys can to give back to her and her women at Wagon Coffee. Okay, I think that's it, guys. I think I did the announcements. We are starting our Advent series, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like a countdown for Christmas. And each week we'll have a different theme, and we're going to invite community members up each week to light our Advent candles and say a little prayer to kind of kick us off. And this week I have asked Jeff and Josh to come up and join me.
This evening, we light the first candle, the candle of hope. This candle reminds us that God's work in this world is about light shining in the darkness, the hope of a new day, the hope of healing, the hope of recovery, the hope of being connected to others, connected to something greater than ourselves. The hope of God being born into the darkness, born in the form of a vulnerable baby. Tonight, we begin our journey to Christmas.
And we begin every single Saturday night the exact same way. We start with celebrations. So if you are celebrating anything tonight, whether it's an anniversary, a sobriety birthday, a belly button birthday, a new job, new house, anything you want to celebrate, please, we're going to take 3 minutes, and online, if you want to celebrate with us as well, drop your comments or drop your celebrations in the comments. And then right now, so anyone here, just raise your hand, and Jeff and Josh will come around and pass out mics, but this next 3 minutes is all yours.
My name is Julian. I just want to give a shout out to my mom and Jimmy for their anniversary, or for their engagement. I love you guys.
My name is Layla. We just want to give a big shout out to Larry, Jimmy's best friend. On Monday is his birthday, and on Thursday he had 2,500 days clean and sober.
Yeah, my name's Ron, and I just picked up my 29-year chip Friday night, so it's good.
My name's Elizabeth, and I'm celebrating the birth of my granddaughter this morning. And I'm very tired and very happy to be here. I know, so good.
My name is Tegan, and I'm celebrating my mom. She's our guest to talk tonight.
Hi, my name's Adriana, and my brother recently got out of the hospital after his car accident.
I just want to celebrate Melissa because I'm just really happy to see you doing healthy things out in the world today. You kick ass.
Got time for one more?
My name is Cass, and on Monday, I'll be getting 6 months.
Right on.
Josh, my tell friend. Oh, do we have another one in the back?
I had neck surgery last week, last Tuesday, Tuesday before last. So I'm just celebrating that I'm not using drugs or alcohol after having major surgery on my neck.
Glad that you're here. Josh, can I ask you to come up here and join me for the online celebrations? You want to go first? I think they'll be up here.
Felicia. Is that it?
Yep, but you got to say it in the mic.
I'm loud in general. Felicia, 60 days sober. Good job.
And Tizzy, celebrating one of the best friends I've ever had, Miss Amber. She is one of the best friends. So proud to watch her share her story on that couch and 2 years of sobriety on the 21st. Oh, it's Christy. It's Christy. Hi, Christy.
Brett, 1 week free of gambling. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Vixen Rose has 60 days sober. Congratulations.
Jan Scarborough, I celebrated 10 years of continual sobriety last Wednesday, November 26th. Good job.
Congratulations. Brett, 1 week free of gambling. I think it's the same one, but Brett, we'll thank you twice for that one. Good job.
Hillbilly, hooligans. Friday the 28th was 16 months for me, no alcohol at all.
All right. T. Gomez, celebrating the great health of our 15-month-old daughter.
Matt P., 30 days fentanyl free. Yes, sir, brother. Good job.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. All right, guys. Although we all love Ryan Canaday, it's actually kind of nice sometimes when he's gone, and I'll tell you why. It's not because he's gone, but when he doesn't come up and give the message, we get to have the privilege of asking a friend of ours to come up and help us tonight. So if y'all don't know who Sarah Hornbuckle is, get ready. This woman is absolutely astonishing. She brings the power, she brings her energy, she brings her love of God. This woman makes me cry every single time I see her without fail, and she's also going to sing for us. So please do me a favor and help. Oh, sorry, before we welcome Sarah, we're in the middle of our new Advent series. So while we're playing the video, Sarah will come up, but right now we're kicking off our new Advent series.
Good evening. I'm so happy to see all of you. I'm not necessarily thrilled that the 5 p.m. will be the live one the next time we come, because the 5 p.m. you get a rehearsal. So if you let something slip that you're not supposed to say, then you can just fix it for the next one. But that's okay. So I am ready to go today. But every single time, every time, Reverend Ryan asked me to come speak and share a message, my entire life blows up. Like, not like a little bit of a blown up, like a flat tire. Like, we're talking like massive collisions and all kinds of things that happen to me, but I still say yes anyway, because what better way to give a message than when you are fully prepared and ready? And the message tonight is the gift of powerlessness. Yeah, boy. I have been through the ringer, so you're going to get to hear about that. But the hardest part about coming here tonight, aside from that, is figuring out how to simplify a message as big as hope. Because depending on what version of the Bible you're reading, hope pops up between 126 and 174 times in the Bible. It is a big subject. It's because powerlessness is something we all struggle with, and hope is something we all desperately need. Tonight is the beginning of Advent, like she said, so we're counting down the weeks to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Now, before Jesus, the world had become dark and hopeless, much of how it seems now. But he came to show us how to have a life full of love and hope. So if that's the case, then why does life sometimes feel so hopeless? Why does powerlessness make us feel so weak? Why do we get angry when we feel weak? When we don't have all the answers, or when we don't have control? It has a lot to do with pride and ego. We talk about that a lot in recovery. But when something happens, calamity, chaos, it's not always about pride and ego. But what we get to learn is that in our weakest moments, God's power shows up the greatest. Powerlessness becomes an invaluable gift. So if there's anything that you remember from this message, I want you to remember this. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. I'm going to tell you the story of Gideon that is found in the book of Judges, chapters 6-8. Now, my youngest son is named after this story because when I was pregnant with him, life was kind of a mess, and I really needed God to prove to me, to show me that he was with me, that he was going to be there for me, because it really felt like he had abandoned me. Anybody ever feel that way? Yeah. And he did. So Gideon means mighty warrior, challenger, and destroyer. That's what it means after the story I'm about to tell you. In hindsight, I'm thinking that maybe I should have named Gideon something like Henry, like something maybe a little less destroyer and challenger, because he has lived up to every bit of his name over the last 14 years. This boy has come to stir it up. Yes. Yeah, it's exhausting, but awesome. In the Old Testament, you're going to read countless stories of all the times that God's people turned their back on God and started worshiping idols, started destroying themselves and destroying other people. God did one incredible miracle after another, and yet still we forgot over and over again. The Israelites turned their back on God. And why? Well, because they're human. They're us. We get distracted. We face hardship. We think that God has abandoned us. Somebody hurt us or betrays us. Maybe we lose a loved one and we blame God because God's not showing up for us today. If he was a good God, this wouldn't have happened. So then we end up going to find something else that might work for us. I tried that. It works for a little while, right? And it doesn't work after that. So for 7 years, Israel was being oppressed by the Midianites. They took their homes, their cattle, they ruined all of their crops, and they impoverished Israel so much that they had to live in caves, in mountain clefts. See, God had brought them out of slavery and into the promised land full of milk and honey, but now they were homeless, defeated, afraid, and weak. After 7 years, they finally cried out to God for help. And God, well, he called on Gideon. So I'm going to take you through a few steps using the story of Gideon on how to take powerless as a weakness and turn it into a gift. Step 1, accept powerlessness. It's one of the hardest ones. So Gideon was from the lowest clan in his tribe, and he was also the weakest in his family. He was quite literally at the bottom of the food chain. But God approached Gideon and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. You are going to build an army and defeat your enemy." You know what Gideon said? It's in the Bible. He said, "I'm sorry, what? I have some questions." Fair. He says, "Why has all this happened to us?" See, in the Bible, it says exactly why this happened to us. You turned your back on God and you decided to worship something else and you decided to become something else. So he was confused asking this. How many times do we do that? God, why is this happening to me? Where's our part in all of that? But he had some questions. He said, "God, you have abandoned us. I'm also the weakest one in my family, so you're kind of setting me up here for a death sentence." And God said, "I will be with you." Over and over again. Every question he had, "I will be with you in this." I didn't stutter. That's what God says. Now in the Bible it says, "Do not test the Lord your God, but you can ask God to prove that he is with you." And Gideon asked God 3 times to prove that God was with him, because God was asking him to do something that by human standards, it was going to get him killed. He's like, "You're literally setting me up here. Why would I even do that?" So the first time, Gideon's meeting with an angel of the Lord that God had sent. And he's like, "All right, well, if you are a celestial being and an angel, it's customary for us to bring you a gift. So I should bring you a gift. So he goes, he says, hold on, I'll be right back. This is hilarious. If I ever meet an angel of the Lord, I don't know if I'd be like, could you just hold on just a second? I got to go cook something, and then I'll be right back. But he does, because this is their custom. So he comes back with some meat and bread, and he puts it in front of him. And the angel has a staff in his hand. And he takes the staff, and he touches it with the point of his staff, and the whole thing blows up. He's like, do you believe me now? Like, do we need to light more things on fire, or can we get on with it now? He's like, okay, I believe you. Got it. What do I do first? Step 2. Get rid of any idols. The first thing that God tells Gideon to do is go commit a felony. You ever read the story? I didn't realize that until this past week. I'm like, oh my gosh, he really is setting him up. Destruction of private property. So the Israelites have built these idols, these big idols, and one thing called an Asherah pole, and they would worship them instead of worshiping God. They would literally worship wood. So he says, go cut it down. He's like, well, if I do that, then my people are going to kill me. So he goes and commits a felony at nighttime, like any good criminal. So when you decide to take this step, to cut down any idols that are in your life, what are idols? It's anything that you're putting before God. Anything. It could be a relationship, a person, place, thing, a substance, anything that is coming before God that is more important, that is your idol. It can even be attention. It can be all kinds of things. So think about that. Whatever it is that's coming in between you and having that relationship with God. So when you think about that, and when you're getting rid of your idols, just please don't commit a felony. And if you do, just don't mention my name and be like, Sarah Hornbuckle said, God says. No, don't do that. So like he thought, the whole town finds out in the morning that their idols have been destroyed and they want to kill Gideon, but God spared his life. During this time, the Midianites, remember this enemy that he has, now they have built an outrageous army because their plan is to completely annihilate the Israelites, take them all out. This army is 135,000 men strong, and they're coming after Israel, who isn't very big, and they're very weak, and they're homeless, and they don't have a whole lot going for them. So the whole army, all 135,000, all camp out in this valley. It's called the Valley of Jezreel. The reason why this is important, it's going to be important for later. In this valley, it's open on this side, and then you have 3 mountains, one here, and one here. It's going to be important. Step 3. Now, we're talking about we're going from powerlessness to hope and overcoming. Build a small but mighty fight club. With God's help, Gideon built an army of over 32,000 men to fight. It's a lot of dudes. He was in the weakest of his family. Everybody was probably going to kill him for being like, God told me to build an army, but they didn't. So he survived a few different things, and now he's built an army of 32,000 people. That's crazy, but still, it's still no match for 135,000 men. So Gideon's getting nervous, right? And he knows that this battle is coming. And he knows that by human standards, he is likely going to die. It's just, they're no match for that many people. So he goes to God and he's like, hey, I know that this is what you're asking me to do. And I know that it's you, but like, I just want to get a few things clear. So if you could just tell me one more time, prove to me one more time that you're with me. Give me this sign. And he takes this piece of wool and he says, in the morning, when I wake up, if this piece of wool is wet and the ground is dry, I will know that it is you that is with me. God says, cool. Wakes up in the morning, fleece is wet, the ground is dry. He's like, cool trick. Shoot. That means he's got to go fight this. And he's like, I know. Don't be mad. Please don't be mad. It says this in the Bible. Please, God, don't be angry with me. But if you could just do it one more time, because I'm really scared, and all these guys are also scared, and I just need to know. So he's like, but only this time, let the piece of wool be dry and the ground be wet when I wake up. Sure thing. In the morning, he wakes up. Piece of wool is dry. The ground is wet. He's like, oh, God. Okay, let's go. This is what we're going to do. I'm ready. God says that he's with me. He's proven to me that he's with me. But then God throws a little wrench in it, and he says, you have too many guys. What? 135, 32. I don't think so. No, you got too many guys. Judges 7, 2-3. The Lord said to Gideon, you have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me, saying, my own strength has saved me. Now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. So 22,000 men left, while 10,000 remained. That's a big loss. God says, I am going to make darn sure that you know that I saved you from this. You are going to see that powerlessness is a gift. You are living in caves and you want to get out of this, so we're doing it my way. Who is in your fight club? Are they trembling with fear, or are they grounded and rooted? Are they helping you through stuff? Your fight club matters. So we're down to 10,000, and guess what God says? There's still too many. And he's like, are you kidding me? You want to take more from me? How much more, God, do you want to take from me? I've prayed that prayer. So he says, take them all down to this stream. And all the guys who drink water from the stream, by bending down and putting their heads just directly in the water, send them home. But all of the guys who scoop up water in their hands and drink from their hands, well, really the Bible actually says lap like dogs, which I never really understood, because when I cup water, I just kind of, but apparently they're lapping. He's like, keep all those guys. How many of you think cup the water? 300. 300 guys. And God goes, yeah, that's it. That's what I need, 300. And can you imagine Gideon having to go in? They have been traumatized and impoverished by this entire army for 7 years, and God keeps getting rid of his army. God, that would have felt so defeating to me. And just like, God, I don't know if this is it. But here's the thing. When I read this, I think, my fight club, if I want it to be small but mighty, I want guys keeping their eyes up and watching my back, watching out for me. We watch out for each other when danger is coming, when we see things that we can protect and help and take care of each other. That's important, but if your head is down, you don't know what's coming, and you're more of a danger to me than a help. Step 4, listen to God and believe that he is with you. So Gideon says, all right, God, now I have this 300 dudes because you sent all the rest of them home. What is the game plan? And I quote, you are going to surround the valley, blow your trumpets, smash glass jars, and yell while waving torches. What kind of a battle strategy is that? I'm sorry. Okay, so we smash, we blow our trumpets, we yell, and then we just wave torches. And God says, yes, that's what you do. Can you imagine what his army thought? Where they're probably expecting something like a George Washington-like strategy, right? We're going to come up from the rear, and then we're going to do this and do that. And like, no, we're just going to yell and break things. Okay, very cool. So they did. Gideon's 300 surrounded the enemy camp. They smashed their jars, they blew their trumpets, they waved their torches, and they yelled. Now, historians say that because of the echoes of the valley, the trumpets blowing and voices yelling caused mass confusion. The Midianites and their army were so tightly packed in that valley that they couldn't tell who was the enemy and who wasn't. Now, this part isn't in the Bible, but I swear they had to have been partying the night before. Because they had thought that they were just ready to wipe out Israel. They were just waiting. They were having a great time. I've already won this. I've already got this. Have you ever faced somebody who thinks they've just got you? Yeah, I have. They think they got you right where they want you. But God goes, no, we're gonna yell and break things. It's gonna be a whole thing. Anyway, I think they were getting loaded the night before, and they were partying and already celebrating. And I think that when all of this happened, and the chaos and the sounds and all of that, it felt like it was right here, that glass jar was breaking right in their ear, that torch, it looked like probably like, I don't know, maybe they were on acid. Who knows? Like, it was just like, oh my God. And like, maybe their enemies are there. And so they just start killing each other. They all start killing each other. So these 300 dudes, there's 100 on this mountain, 100 on this, and 100 on that. They're watching going, oh, it's working. Yelling is working. It's amazing. So anytime somebody wants to talk to me about gentle parenting, I point them to this scripture. Just kidding. Kinda. So they killed each other, and the few that were left were easily taken down by Gideon's 300. God knew exactly how many dudes they needed. He knew. But the story doesn't end there. But for the sake of time, that's where we're going to end. Because Gideon ends up going on this tirade and killing all of the enemies, and they had peace for 30 years. And then the cycle continues. So you get to read the end of Judges and read the Bible. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. It's the literal definition of insanity, which is what we are all too familiar with here. Same things over and over and over again. But you know what never changes is God. It's pretty amazing. I've read this story 100 times. And this week I saw the similarities between the Midianites and addiction, anxiety, depression, fear, anger, ego, and every mental illness that we are dealing with today. Those things take everything from us. Our homes, our families, our food, sanity, sleep, hope. All of it. We think that this is what it means to be powerless, but it's not. Because you can be completely healthy and sane while being powerless. This is where we get to rewrite the script. The Israelites lived in constant fear and desolation for 7 years before they cried out to God and asked for help. 7 years to say, we can't. God, I need your help. They finally admitted that they were powerless. So finally, God could work. I've experienced so much hopelessness and powerlessness in this last year. My oldest, he's going to be 18 on Monday. It's hard to believe, but he has a father who struggles with addiction, and it wreaks absolute havoc on my son's mental health some days. My daughter's boyfriend this whole past year, he took his life 4 weeks ago at the age of 16. And I had another friend die of an overdose. We all know that feeling. One of my employees' sons was killed in a car accident at the age of 20. And my 14-year-old son, Gideon, the one I mentioned, he discovered alcohol and weed this summer. When my oldest two discovered it, it was a very normal teen experience of smart choices and, communication and all of that. Not with this 14-year-old, because guess what? He's one of us. He took us on a ride this summer, and it was really scary. And I just sent him to a treatment program at 14 years old. I'm a woman in recovery, long-term recovery. I work in recovery. And I'm having to deal with this heart-wrenching issue of my son needing more help than I can give him. Powerlessness makes me feel afraid and angry and confused because I'm supposed to be solving problems, protecting my family and my community, but I am absolutely powerless over anyone's addiction or mental health struggles, including my own son. I'm powerless against anyone's grief. But my hope does not come from my own strength or capabilities. It comes from God. So we're going to do a quick recap. Accept powerlessness. Get rid of anything standing in the way for you be able to receive God's grace and his hope. Build a small but mighty fight club and listen to him. And the most important is believe that he is with you even when you can't see him. There's a quote by Rebecca Solnit. It says, "Hope is not a lottery ticket you can sit on the sofa and clutch feeling lucky. It is an axe you break down doors with in an emergency." Hope comes when I accept my own powerlessness. Hope comes when I set down whatever it is I'm putting before my faith. For me, 10 years ago, it was substances and a toxic relationship. Now, it's fear. I had to reach out to my fight club and ask for them to sit with me in my pain and to pray for me, to help me. And then they also invited me to celebrate things that are going on in their life. It was a baptism, a birthday party, a wedding. I got to get some hope and borrow a little hope from my fight club while I was struggling and going through this stuff. They watch out for me like Gideon's 300. I have to believe that God is with me and that he's going to take care of my children, that he is going to take care of you. And the biggest issue I have with this is he's not going to let me take credit for any of it. He's not going to let me. He's going to say, I did that, not you, because I don't have to rely on my own understanding or my power, and thank God for that. 2 Corinthians 12, 8 through 10. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord, take this away from me. I have done so much crying in the last 6 months. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardship, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. What a concept in our heads, where we started this out by talking about why does weakness make us so angry? When in reality, what God says is, no, your weakness makes you stronger, because then I can speak into your life. I can show up into your life. I can do things that you wouldn't ever dream about. I can take down 135,000 enemies with 300 dudes. Watch me work, and all you have to do is yell and break things. Amazing how that happens. Yeah. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. I'm going to play this song by Danny Gokey. It's called Hope in Front of Me. As I'm playing this, I want you to think about what idols you need to set down tonight. Is it something like the typical cliche, pride and ego, and or is it, what is it? Is it fear? Is it frustration? Is it boundaries that you need? Come on. Yeah, you're good. What are the things that are getting in the way of you being able to feel strong even when you're weak? What does your fight club look like? Do you have one? Do you need one? Do you need to start showing up to some places and say, hey, I need a fight club. You want to come? Where we can yell and break things? Do you have a relationship with God who tells you, let me show up for you? Let me get you out of this. Let me work. I just need you to get out of the way. Think about that. If Gideon would have been told the entire battle plan and everything that was going to happen, if he was anything like me, I would have screwed up the whole thing. I would have been like, you know what? Good idea, but I think we should make a few adjustments and we should do ... Right? If we know the whole plan, we're going to screw it up. Let's be real. So we got to rely on God, that he has a higher plan and he knows what's going on, and we can take hope in that. And finally, let's start rewiring our minds. From a biblical perspective, powerlessness and weakness is not an ultimate failure, but a condition that reveals human limitations and provides an opportunity for God's power to manifest in our lives. True strength comes from relying on God's grace rather than your own abilities. God's power is made absolutely perfect in your weakness. I thought this one would be better, and I think you're going to like it. I'm pumped for you. I've been running through rain that I thought would never end. Trying to make it on faith in a struggle against the wind. I've seen the dark and the broken places, but I know in my soul, no matter how bad it gets, I'll be alright. 'Cause there's hope in front of me. There's a light, I still see it. There's a hand still holding me, even when I don't believe it. I might be down, but I'm not dead. There's better days still up ahead, even after all I've seen. There's hope in front of me. There's a place at the end of the storm you'll finally find, where the hurt and the tears and the pain all fall behind. You open up your eyes and up ahead there's a big sun shining. Right then and there you realize you'll be alright, 'cause there's hope in front of me. There's a light, I still see it. There's a hand still holding me, even when I don't believe it. I might be down, but I'm not dead. There's better days still up ahead, even after all I've seen. There's hope in front of me. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. There's a light still burning. I can feel it rising through the night, and my world's still turning. I can feel your love here by my side. Oh, 'cause you're my hope. You're the light, I still see it. Your hands holding me, even when I don't believe it. Oh, I've got to believe. I've got to believe. You're my hope. I still have hope. 'Cause you're my hope. In the midst of powerlessness, hope can be born. You will face a lot of suffering in this life, even in recovery. But there is hope, because the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Thank you.
I adore you. Can you guys give it up for Sarah one more time? I mean, we're so lucky to have you. And this is what, it's amazing too, because our guest storyteller, we always have a guest storyteller in the living room to share like the second half, a little bit of their story. And the reason that this one is so important, because one of the sermons that Sarah was talking about, this woman was here, and this sermon really had an impact on where this person was in their life. And this is what you just never know by getting up here, being brave enough to be vulnerable and like show us your path of recovery. Like, you never know the hope you're bringing to someone else. And I know, honestly, like every time that woman sings and delivers the message, Sarah, I just am so, so grateful. I know I've already done this, but can you guys one more round of applause for Sarah? And now I would love to introduce you to my friend Amber. So would you help me welcome up her to the stage? Thank you. How you doing, friends?
I'm good.
She's pretty magical, this one. I want to start your story. So you can see here, this was in July of 23 is when you got sober. And it was in September that Sarah was delivering a message. We were just talking about it in between services, and it wasn't when she was a guest storyteller, but it's when she was talking her sermon on anger. Can you tell us a little bit about what was going on in your story, September of 2020? No, not 20, yeah, 23, and why Sarah's message was so important to you that evening?
Yeah. Just want to say really grateful to be here tonight, and thank you for letting me share my story. So in September of 2023, I had been sober about 70 days. I had been going through a really difficult time in my life. I ended up catching a domestic violence charge for throwing a rock at my daughter's father's apartment window. And I don't know about like you guys, but if you've ever done anything worse than throw a rock, there's sometimes repercussions. So from that, I ended up not having contact with my kids for 6 months. And it was during that period of time where, you know, the gift of desperation was really kicking in, and I had ended up coming to that service, and when Sarah shared on anger, she'd kind of explained sort of a similar domestic situation. She didn't throw a rock, but and it really gave me that opportunity, because I had been sitting with so much shame. I think I'd only told you. I was just filled with guilt and remorse and shame. And when I heard her story, it was like a light bulb went off. And I remember I like raced to talk to her. And I'd been coming to service quite often, that I'd never done that before. And I just had to like share in that vulnerability. And I told her, and we sat and we were talking in the bathroom. And we sat for like an hour while I've always been able to be okay and play it off that I'm fine. But it was a moment where I was like, I'm gonna be honest right now, and I'm not fine. Like, I have no idea when I'm gonna see my children again. Like, I'm the one that got myself in this situation, and I have no idea how to get out of it. But it was definitely a moment of like hearing somebody else and being like, oh my God, I'm not the only one who does silly things like throw rocks.
And I know sometimes when someone like tries to explain like, oh, just be hopeful, or, you know, like trying to always like look for this brighter side of life, or maybe some people would call it spiritual bypassing. I know one thing that we did a lot of talking arounds. Amber's a very close friend of mine, so I get to talk to her all the time. But one of the things was that hope is an action step. Can you tell us a little bit of how did you take from that moment in September 23, and you had no idea what was going to happen, and you also knew that going back to drugs and alcohol was not going to solve the problem. So you made a conscious decision to start working this program of recovery, like not only your life depended on it, but your motherhood with your children as well. So what did that actually look like to work a program of hope and action?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I worked a program of recovery like my life depended on it, because it literally did. The depths of depression that alcohol can seem so appealing to numb out from, I was basically there, and I didn't want to go back to that life, and so I threw myself into recovery. That meant going to meetings on a regular basis, working with my sponsor on a regular basis, like not only the step work, but calling her when I literally was like, I'm about to jump off the roof of this building, help me. And the one thing that will always stick with me is God is everything or he is nothing. What is your choice? And I said, like, okay, my choice is God is everything. There's got to be a bigger purpose in this pain right now, and I cannot see it. And so I'm going to continue to wake up every day, and even on the worst days, it was, God, thank you for keeping me sober today. God, help me stay sober today. Help me do the next right thing. Let me show up where I don't know how I'm supposed to show up next. And those consistent cumulative actions have allowed me to not only like get my kids back, but show up for them in a way that I'm still working on becoming a better mother, but I was not shown this way of life. And you know, it's a daily practice. Whether I have 2 years, you guys have 2 days, or however much time you have, it's a day-by-day practice. And to not do it alone is like the biggest piece of advice. Find your tribe.
Well, and that too, it wasn't always easy for you. And we joke a lot about this spiritual playground that we all get to practice on, right? And feeling big feelings without having adult temper tantrums and throwing rocks, or having adult feelings and being it's so true though, right? It's like, and like having really, I don't know about you guys, but finding friends in sobriety was so hard for me. I was terrified and like riddled with anxiety, and to go up to someone sober and be like, do you want to be my friend? Like, it's really hard. And I know that you really struggled with that, and you have an amazing fight club around you. Most of them were here at the 5 p.m. You have a lot here at the 7 p.m. How did that look for you in that emotional playground of having to find friends and having to find that fight club, showing up vulnerable and learning to have big emotions in recovery?
Well, the first thing that like comes to mind is kind of along with the message of hope. Like I saw people talking about the fellowship. I saw the people that would talk about like the community of women that would support them in their time of need. And I didn't really honestly believe that would be possible for me. But I believed that it was possible for other people. And it's like that willingness to be willing. Like I was willing to be willing enough that like it could happen for me, even if I didn't believe that it was actually going to. And so like often what I say is like, how are we to attract the people that are really meant for us, right? Like the ones that keep our head up and our eyes towards God, if we're not showing up to allow people to get to know us. Right? Because if we are showing up authentically, we will not be for everyone, and that is okay. And when we show up the way that God designs us to be, we get to show other people who we really are, and then other people get to decide and say, that's the kind of person that I want. And so for me, it was really challenging to feel safe enough to be vulnerable, for people to let in, to see who I was. But when I saw other people doing that, being in meetings, showing up consistently, seeing the same people and allowing my ears to be bigger than my mouth, right? God gave us 2 of those. I forget that sometimes. But I started to listen to other people. I didn't want to run from them. And I saw how other people were being vulnerable, that I could do that too. And then I was surprised that people didn't run from me. And people have continued to show up and love me in the times where it was so freaking hard to love myself.
And what's amazing is that same group of friends. So recently you had another pretty difficult situation happen, and your first reaction was you called your sponsor, you went to a meeting, and you reached out. You knew exactly where to come. You came to Free. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to come here. What do you think that by sharing, and I have to tell y'all, Amber did not think that she was right for the topic of hope, which I find hilarious. But in that moment, what made you turn the car? You could have gone anywhere in the world, but you showed up here. What made you show up to Free that day?
I think it was out of habit. Honestly, like the tools that I've been given in recovery, I've been able to use in those moments of like, I don't know what, my butt is falling off, I don't know what to do. I had lost my job unexpectedly. I was let go.
Single mom, 3 kids, not knowing what the future is going to look like. You don't have all the hope in the world, but you still took the action of hope.
Yeah, I showed up. My best friend Chrissy was in the cafe, and I showed up and I was vulnerable and I broke down and cried in her arms and I said, but I know that everything's gonna work out okay. Like, God has not failed me up until this point. Like, what makes this any different? And here I am again, throwing myself back into recovery when I have no idea what the future holds.
The other thing that I really respect about your recovery is, you know, a lot of times we talk about the physical absence of chemicals, the drugs, the alcohol, when we're sober, and we're not actually putting chemicals in our system. And there's a deeper level of healing when it comes to some of the childhood stuff, and this, which is something that we talk a lot about as well. And I hope it's okay that I share this. Yes, I can share this part?
Yes.
Okay. So we do a lot of work with adult children of alcoholics and other dysfunctional homes. I don't know if y'all have heard of ACA. It's an extraordinary program. But it's one of the things that it's a way, one of the easiest ways that I would say to describe it is that we get to reparent ourselves in a loving, gentle manner and have a new relationship with a higher power of our own understanding to kind of rewire some of that God stuff that maybe our families of origin kind of instilled at us in those conceptions of a higher power. How do you think that that program work and ACA and inner child work has helped kind of recalibrate where you find hope these days?
Great question. What I have learned from my work thus far in ACA is that the gift of powerlessness is really more about not trying to change my past anymore. I would show up in a way to try to make up for all of the things that had happened in the past. And today I realized, like, I'm only in charge of like showing up how God would have me be today, that I don't have to try to rewrite my history. My history has gotten me to being like where I am today. In terms of the hope, I would say like ACA really shows me all of like the emotional sobriety pieces that like I did not inherit. Like what I inherited from my mom was a lot of behavior that I don't want to live like that. And with ACA, it's like, okay, I can get down to like even further in my soul of like how to clear that emotional baggage from being taught in a way that, you know, my mom did the best that she could. But honestly, like, the gift that I'm trying to give to my kids is like breaking that cycle of addiction and screaming and fighting and just go to your room, you know, like bringing up the emotional intelligence pieces to try to help them learn how to navigate this life, because it's really hard to navigate life all by yourself.
Life is very lifey.
So I hope that answered the question. I don't know.
I think it did. And then in closing, to anyone who's out there who might be struggling to find their hope, anyone who's online who might be struggling to even make it through the doors, maybe they've never been through the doors of Free and they're too scared to start, what piece of hope would you leave them with tonight?
I would say you don't have to feel it to start. You don't have to feel hopeful for hope to come into your heart. And I would also say, like, what if you could try to expect the best? You know, like, if you are too afraid, as often I had been, to like walk into a room or like go into a new space because of those fears, right? Like, nobody's gonna like me, I'm gonna be judged, like I'm gonna be the outcast, like whatever your fears are. What if you assume the best? And one thing that I often remember praying very early was like, God, I'm so grateful for all of the people I've yet to meet.
Oh, I like that. So all of those people who have not met Amber yet, so get to know her, meet her, come say hi to her after. She's here quite often. Her and her amazing Fight Club of people, so if you're all looking for some friends too. But can you guys do me a favor and please give it up for Amber? All right, friends, and we end each evening. Can I give this to you, Josh and Jeff, again? We end the evening the same way we begin it, but this time we end with our heartaches. Maybe it's something you're carrying that you do not have to carry alone. You have a community that walks beside you, that walks with you. We have a community where you don't have to do any of this alone. So we also take 3 minutes. If you're watching online and have a heartache, you can drop it in the comments. But this 3 minutes is yours. Simply raise up your hand. Josh will take you guys on this side, and Jeff will take you on this side. This 3 minutes is yours.
My name is Layla. So for Thanksgiving, we went and served food down to the homeless downtown Denver. And then driving here tonight, right here on Evans, you know, there are people sleeping outside. And I'm complaining about how cold I am just getting to my vehicle. And I forget, you know, what people are really going through. So if we could say a prayer for those that don't have warm food or shelter tonight, if we could say a prayer for them.
My aunt and uncle, my uncle has cancer, and a part of a celebration is that my aunt and uncle, they aren't married, but they're getting married tomorrow. But it's just praying for them and a happy marriage for as long as they can have it. So.
My name's Aaron. I'm just asking for prayers for my little sister. She had a biopsy result come back, and she's got yesterday, and she's got to jump into surgery next week. So just a couple prayers would be appreciated.
Paul, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm 50 days sober, and I would like to thank Elizabeth for her generosity in inviting me tonight. And I thought it's been a beautiful hour, and I look forward to coming next week and Thank you.
Glad that you're here. We have time for one more, maybe two more.
My name's Amber, and my longest friend is diagnosed with leukemia and stage 3, so I'd appreciate a prayer for him. Thank you.
Jeff or Josh, do one of you want to join me up here? Thanks, friends. You want to go first?
Hillbilly hooligans. My 19-year-old son has a 3-month checkup on his brain tumor on Monday. Prayers for Hillbilly.
Annika, I'm struggling with self-worth and letting go of control fully and trusting God. I truly loved tonight's service. It spoke to the exact thing I'm struggling with. Face red, heart-shaped. Oh, the emoji. I'm like, what does that mean? Thank you. I'm so glad. And again, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you. If you did not get a chance to share your heartache and you were carrying something or didn't feel comfortable grabbing a microphone or saying it out loud, please don't leave here tonight with that heavy on your heart. There's a community of people. Come find one person. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but you're never alone. And this is one community that understands what you're going through. So please, even if you didn't say anything tonight, you don't have to carry any of those burdens ever again. And I want to thank you all. I want you to know that if it was not for this generous community, we would not be able to continue to do what we do. So if you have been impacted by the mission of breaking the silence of addiction, please know that we do rely on your generous donations. Right now, we had a community member challenge us with a $10,000 challenge that they will match up to $10,000 going. I know, it's amazing. Our community is so spectacular. This challenge will go through December 8th. So anything that you guys donate, if you do it online and you write the word match on the line, this will go towards the match challenge. Any amount, it does not matter. It could just be a little, it could be a lot. It doesn't matter, but any little bit of it helps. And there are 3 ways to give. You can download our app. Our app has all of our past content, including guest storytellers and sermons. You can also go to our website where it says donate. There's a little drop down box and it says give. And there's also 2 kiosks right outside the door, this one and one out there. And it's just a little plastic box. It says give. So if you have cash or a check, you can just stick it in those boxes. We also have the Kind kiosk just outside these doors. It's the little little tippy tap system. You can set a custom amount for it. But again, any little bit helps to go towards that $10,000 challenge. And I would be so very honored if you guys would help me welcome some special friends up here to close us out with a prayer. But I would love to bring my buddy Tegan up here. Tegan is one of the 3 daughters. And Tegan is an amazing friend of mine, and I absolutely adore her. So I would love to, this is what recovery looks like. Moms get their kids back, right? This is hope in action. This is literally what hope looks like. Right? Tegan's amazing. But if you guys would please join me in just the quick little serenity prayer, but just close your eyes for 1 minute. And if you feel so called, either put your hand on your heart, put your hands open, however you feel connected to the divine. Just take a deep breath and just come into the room and we're so grateful that we got to spend this evening with you guys. And if you would, please help me go out with the serenity prayer. And it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, thank you guys. And remember, next Saturday, the live stream will be at 5 p.m. Thank you all so much. Yeah, wave, Tegan, you're on camera. All right.